Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael, and all of the buttons worked, guys.
Yay.
The music started, everything
You remembered Kemp's name eventually?
I did. We had a moment of panic when the news came on. I went, oh, that's our cue. We got to get ready. And then I thought, wait, no, it's not. It's some other guy. Who's the other guy?
Yeah, who's that?
It's Kemp Miller.
That other guy.
It is Traffic Safety Thursday. In case you haven't guessed already, although I did warn you at the end of yesterday's show, Lieutenant Warren Gosnell from the Frederick County Sheriff's Office is here in the studio with me. We are live today, and I had the absolute privilege of getting to chat for just a brief moment with my favorite sheriff, Lenny Milholland, before we started the show.
All we get is just a brief moment. It doesn't matter who we are.
You're just so lucky because you get to see him every day. Do you
Yes,
see him every day?
You know, if I don't see him every day, it's either a text, an email, or a phone call. It very seldom will a 24-hour period go by that the sheriff and I don't have some type of conversation, whether it's traffic related, whether it's public information related, or something special that we have coming up that we need to handle. The sheriff, I got to tell you, the man earns what he won each and every day. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know, other than, a couple of days here and there when the temperatures drop and he might go down south for a few days. Other than that, the man's almost always on the job. So, and that I don't have to brown nose anymore. I've gotten to where I am. So
You've already reached the pinnacle.
Yeah, I've reached the pinnacle of where I'm going. So I don't have to do that anymore. I'm just stating the truth. He wears the uniform with pride, and means what he says. So I'm glad he's your favorite. Yeah. I'm glad for the opportunity to get to continue my illustrious career in law enforcement under his administration.
So let's talk about that for a second, because it's been a couple of months now since our conversation where you let me know that you have become the public information officer for the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. What does that mean? I mean, how does that work? What do you do?
Well, Janet, I think basically what's happened now is we go back to the campaign. The sheriff wanted to be elected as the people's sheriff. All right. And he is the face of the sheriff's office. It is his agency for the next 3 years, 3 months, however many days, until, the next go round. That's his baby. But as far as with the public, there's only so much one man can do. And so we have so many things going on now. Frederick County has grown so much. We're up to almost 90,000 residents now, 427 square miles. We have a major interstate that goes through our jurisdiction. We have 4 major state routes that go through our jurisdiction. And without getting off on a sidetrack, did you know that U.S. Route 50, runs east and west?
50 is the one that goes past the hospital.
Yes. U.S. Route 50 runs east and west, and it starts in Ocean City, Maryland.
Now that I did know.
And it ends in Sacramento, California.
Well, wait a minute. I knew there was a Route 50 in Ocean City. I didn't know it was the same as our Route 50.
Yes, that's U.S. route. It's not Virginia route. It's U.S. That means United States, all right? That crosses the entire width of the country, U.S. Route 50. U.S. Route 11 runs north and south. Mm-hmm. It runs from down at the Gulf Coast all the way up through New York, okay?
Okay.
Those two routes cover the full country, north and south, east and west. Doesn't cover every inch of the country. Right. Don't get me wrong, but it goes coast to coast and then Gulf Coast to Canada, all right? Do you know where those two intersect?
It is not here.
U.S. Routes 50 and U.S. Route 11 both intersect within Frederick County. Actually, I believe within the city limits of Winchester. But those two U.S. routes, the only place they meet is Frederick County, Virginia.
And here I was waiting for you to tell me something dumb that I already knew so I could say, well, did you know that of those 90,000 residents in Frederick County, 62,000 of them are registered to vote? Because I learned that.
Well, there you go.
But yours is much cooler than mine.
Well, and U.S. Route 50 stretches some 3,700, I think, 3,800 miles from that coast to coast. And so to think that the only place that it and Route 11 meet are within our jurisdiction. That's some of the fun facts that you find out as the traffic safety coordinator for the sheriff's office, and then you want to pass along as the public information officer. It's stuff like that. Some of the trivial facts, did you know? Well, when it comes down to what the sheriff's office is doing currently, if we've had a major case, if we have a new safety initiative, if we've got National Night Out coming up, something like that, the sheriff wanted someone that could make sure that word was getting out. And if someone had follow-up to that, say you get word that we have the event, but you have a follow-up question or two, then I'm the person you're going to ask. And so I report directly to him as far as, here's what we've got going on, Sheriff. Here's what we're being asked. How would you like it handled? And then I basically, I'm the voice, the face.
Yeah, you disseminate that information back out.
Correct. I'm just the person in front of the media, but I still work at the pleasure of the sheriff. I represent him and the agency. All I'm doing is believe it or not, it takes confidence to be a law enforcement officer, especially now. Oh, yeah. It takes confidence. And the men and women that we work with, whether in our agency or others, most, if not all, have that confidence, and they have that ability when they put on the uniform. They may even change persona a little bit and become stand a little taller, become a little more strict, speak a certain way. We want to make sure we don't say, things that are inappropriate. But when it comes to putting them in front of a microphone,
it's a whole nother thing,
or a camera. Yep, I don't want to talk to people. You talk to people every day. If you roll up on a scene where people are getting unruly, you're the one in the middle standing up saying, disperse, or let me have your attention.
But it's different.
So, but that's basically, I guess I've been doing it 4 or 5 months now.
And that's in addition to your duties, because you didn't come off of patrol. You're still in charge of the traffic division, in addition to being PIO.
I'm the traffic safety coordinator, so I handle certain things for the office.
I thought you were
traffic
the
equipment.
Traffic safety division commander.
That's what the website says. And now all you're doing is giving fuel to those few that are listening going,
yeah.
But actually, as far as running the traffic division, the other 6 people that are out there on a daily basis taking traffic safety and proactive enforcement, I now have the next deputy under me, Deputy Roberts, who has been on traffic with me for 14 years. I've been on it the longest right now of the active officers. Eddie is second. Well, Eddie's now my officer in charge, the OIC.
And in addition to being confident when he puts on his uniform, he also must clearly have the patience of a saint.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay. We're talking 2 different Eddies. That's Eddie Sr., because Eddie is a junior, so maybe we're talking Eddie Sr. But
anybody who has had to work with you for 14 years has clearly developed a strong sense of patience.
I tell you what, if you make it another 14 years, we'll see. But yeah, so the day-to-day, the scheduling, and some of the complaints from HOAs and calls from the sheriff, Eddie's helping with that while I'm, doing some of the administrative stuff of the traffic safety coordinator position or doing some of the PIO stuff. So enough about me, though.
Now, do you guys have to do extra training? I mean, do you have extra classes? Do you have to go over to the police academy and brush up on your DUI skills or how to pull people over? Do you have to do that kind of stuff?
I can tell you there are certain aspects of traffic safety where, yes, you have to take additional training. Basic crash reconstruction is something that I've had in the past. Eddie has had it. A few others within our agency have had that training, not because there is a time where we're required to do reconstruction, but there could come a time where our resources that we have handling that, like state police, will help us with reconstruction on fatalities. But if state police reconstruction team isn't available, we can't hold that scene indefinitely, so we have to be able to step in. So speed measurement, which is being able to use both radar and LiDAR for speed measuring devices, to become an instructor in that. Commercial motor vehicle classes. Commercial motor vehicles are some of the ones that we have issues with from time to time. Let me be straightforward. No one is saying that this country's lifeblood isn't dependent on those people driving over the course of the days, nights, weekends, and holidays in those big rigs. But once you get into that big rig, it's just like becoming a law enforcement officer. You take on a little additional responsibility, and you should have a little additional training. So when that big rig is coming up on that intersection and the light's turning red, I expect the person behind the wheel to anticipate that it's going to be changing and be prepared to stop if they need to stop. Not be telling me, well, I'm loaded down with 80,000 pounds. What do you expect me to do? I expect you to use your training and your observation and be prepared to stop. Something like that. But I'm telling you, we are looking into expanding our horizons when it comes to commercial motor vehicle safety. We also have some deputies who are getting their general instructor certification, and we'll go from there, start teaching motor vehicle related classes to the cadets in the academies, but also prepare them to start going back into the schools, hopefully, and talking to young drivers. That's one of the other things that I normally do is we have each year we go and we talk to the seniors, those that are 17, 18, getting ready to be cut loose out on into the world. Feeling invincible. Yep. We try to tell them some of the differences. That morning, that you woke up on your 18th birthday, I normally ask the guys, I say, any of you wake up this morning with a full beard? Did anyone else in the room wake up feeling different physically this morning than you did last night when you went to bed? And the answer is always, well, no. Well, a lot of things changed for you when that stroke of midnight or your birthday hit. You're now eligible to register to vote. You're now eligible for the draft if they reinstate it. At the time, you were eligible to buy and possess tobacco products. So even though you didn't physically feel any changes, some things happened to you on that. And here's what we want to tell you to be prepared for that out on the road, because another part of the speech is, a show of hands. How many of you in here shoplift on a regular basis or at all? Hands don't go up. How many of you in here go out and regularly assault people? How many of you go and break into other people's homes? And they start looking at you funny, why are you asking this? And then I'm like, how many of you drive a car or want to drive a car? And all the hands go up. And I'm like, so out of all those questions, what's the most likelihood, what's the biggest chance you have to encounter a law enforcement officer? If you're not doing all these other things, but you're driving a vehicle, then your best chance to encounter law enforcement, whether it's a checkpoint, whether it's a traffic stop, or whether it's just a consensual encounter, is while you're operating a motor vehicle. And so here's some things we want you to know, including, what do I do if I see blue lights behind me? That's one of the biggest questions we get, especially from some of the girls in the class. What if it's late at night? What if I'm out in the middle of nowhere? Because Frederick County
there are lots of middle of nowhere
places where you look at your GPS and there's a question mark and the little smiling emoji.
Well,
okay?
And I will tell you, as a lifelong Frederick County resident, I know where some of those places are, and we went there on purpose. But that's a whole nother show, and I'm going to use that to take a break so you can't ask me about why I would be somewhere on purpose in the middle of nowhere. It is Public Safety Thursday. Lieutenant Warren Gosnell from the Frederick County Sheriff's Office is in the studio with me. We are live today, and we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Public Safety Thursday, and we are live
with the real saint. Thanks
I'm
a lot.
pretty sure that text thread you showed me does not imply in any way, shape, or form
my phone's
that you were
blowing
the
up
saint
now.
in the middle of all of that. Lieutenant Warren Gosnell is here in the studio with me today. Again, we are live in the studio. He is with the Frederick County Sheriff's Office, and we have been chatting a little bit about, we went somehow from the duties of the public information officer to fun facts to teaching kids what the responsibilities are when they turn 18 to this story that we will never ever say on the air that told me during the break.
You asked me if I had any funny stories from my career, and I was like, one of the funniest ones is one that I could tell, but that I won't tell, but I tell to folks in person. But no, if anything, at least the traffic division is diligently patrolling the streets of Frederick County right now while listening to your show. So thanks for that.
Yes.
I think a couple of them agree with me, though. Your elevating Eddie to sainthood may be a little premature.
A little premature.
But no, the things we've been talking about, I guess what I'm trying to do, Janet, is part of the duties of the public information officer as far as relaying what we have going on at the sheriff's office, what some of the sheriff's initiatives and policies are, is also trying to get across that, right now with everything that's going on, your local law enforcement here in Frederick County, and I'll go ahead and say in the surrounding counties, the state police, Stevens City PD, the Middletown PD, Winchester PD, the folks that I interact and work with, the stuff that people are reading and hearing about, it's not happening here. And I know anybody can say, well, why should we take your word? And it's like, I've dedicated 23 years now to this profession. And when I say dedicated, I mean, this is who I am now. Mm-hmm. I've been asked before about my social media and stuff like that because I promote what I do, and I'm proud of what I do and who I work for and the people that I represent. And when I was asked about that, hey, do you think that's wise right now? It's like, look, anybody that knows me that doesn't know by now doesn't really know me. So it's like, it's who I am. And so I tried to show people that those of us wearing the uniform and wearing the badge here locally, we're just one of you guys. We're still, pants go on one leg at a time. We may stand a little straighter, like I said earlier. We may present ourselves a little differently when we're in uniform than when we're not. But at the end of the day, we all live and work in this area as well. We have family and friends who live here.
You have kids that go to school
yes.
here. I mean, you are part of the community. The difference, though, I think, and I don't think nearly enough of the residents understand and appreciate, is the amount of responsibility that you guys carry on your shoulders when you leave your houses every day and get in that patrol car or go to dispatch or even go sit in an office to work in an administrative capacity. It is a lot of responsibility that you guys carry on our behalf for our safety.
Well, and to the folks that say, hey, well, you get a paycheck for that. And I pay part of that paycheck. And to those folks, I say thank you, you know.
You're
all right.
welcome.
But if you take we said almost 90,000 people live in Frederick County, right? Well, I can tell you the average deputy isn't making anywhere even close to $90,000. So if you take that and you say, all right, your 50 cents goes towards my annual salary, I'm going to make sure you get your 50 cents worth from me, you know, and the guys that work for me are going to make sure, and the people that we work with are going to make sure. And I guess all I'm trying to say is the last thing any of us within this career want to see is another headline of someone that does something stupid or something illegal while they're wearing the badge or the uniform. And so we are trying to get that message out there that we are your agency serving our community. That's what we have on our little PIO press releases now. You know, your agency working in our community or serving our community. And that's the way it truly is.
I want to give a quick shout out. You mentioned a second ago about Stephen City. Shout out to Bill Kopp, the new police chief, in Stephen City's new police chief. So
Chief Kopp,
kudos
top
to Bill.
cop now. I mean, you know.
Hey, we're friends on Facebook. I got to give him a shout out.
Double P. You know, that's how you know the difference between a real cop and Bill Kopp, the double P.
And you guys work together. I mean, we've talked about that in previous shows. You work with Middletown Police Department. You work with the Stephen City Police Department. You're Frederick County, so you're the umbrella agency. But you kind of have to have relationships with all of them as well.
Yeah, and their officers are cross-sworn in our jurisdiction as well, so they can come outside of their town and city limits and assist us. And I guess that's the thing. Yeah, I guess this past weekend was Thank a Police Officer Day, National.
I missed it.
You did, because you didn't send me anything.
I didn't text you.
Nope, you didn't.
And I would have.
So, and you'd be surprised at the number of folks that do come up to you. And now, as part of with the PIO stuff and all, I went yesterday morning for a quick ultrasound follow-up. And as I walked in the door, a lady goes, I recognize that face even behind the mask. And I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
Because this goes one of two ways. When you're a police officer, it goes one of two ways when someone goes, hey, do you remember me? And so it was a pleasant remembrance. And thanks for the service and thanks for what you do. And I mean, it's little things like that.
Now, go ahead, tell the rest of the story. Did she say, I heard you on the radio last month, and that girl that you're on the radio with is amazing, and you
She
should
said
keep
something
doing
about you being a saint. I don't know. But I guess so what I'm saying is, the world situation and the current situation across the country, and with the elections coming up and with the protests that are continuing in the different areas and all, people are going to form their own opinions, I hope. And I only ask that you start with your own locality.
Right.
Don't generalize.
Don't take
your
a national
local
opinion
law enforcement
and make it your local
correct.
opinion.
Take a look. Do some research. Read past articles from publications or
reliable sources.
Yes. And that's another thing. Just because it's in print, whether it's on social media, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's in a paper, whether it's in a magazine, just because it's on paper doesn't mean that it's 100% accurate. You've already seen that videos aren't always 100% accurate or don't always show everything.
And I've learned from one of my dear friends who was an attorney and is now a judge that just because you see something that happens in New York State and it's illegal in New York State doesn't necessarily mean that it is illegal in the state of Virginia. So know where that information is coming from and does it actually apply
or vice versa
in the jurisdiction. Right.
Yeah, I know my rights. If you're going to say you know your rights, make sure you know your rights, because in Virginia, folks, just as an example, this is one of the things we teach in the schools. because they see those videos where people are leaving their windows rolled up and refusing to present credentials when requested. In Virginia, the state code says that if you've operated a motor vehicle upon the highway and you encounter a law enforcement officer, especially uniform, badge of authority, no question that he or she's a law enforcement officer, and they ask for those credentials, you shall present them. So because you saw it on a video out of California, make sure. And that's the thing. I can tell you right now, I think that the folks around here would be hard-pressed to say that there's an issue with any of their local area law enforcement agencies. Now, put politics aside.
Right.
You know, we all know about that, and every 4 years, as far as sheriffs, you know, there's elections, and every 2 years, delegates are being elected, and such. I'm talking about just straightforward, you know, in the community, enforcing the law. You know, whether you agree with the law or not, that's something you take up with the legislature. But the enforcement of the law, especially those ones that say an officer shall, if it says we shall or shall not do or not do something, we don't have the choice.
Yeah.
You know, and when we took the oath to uphold the Constitution of both the Commonwealth of Virginia and the United States. And so
it is what it is.
I don't like that saying.
I know you don't. That's why I say it, because it annoys you.
But the Constitution is the guiding force, and it's like, if you don't like some of the laws that are coming out of Richmond,
you have the ability to affect change.
All right, because this is going to be the last time that we speak before Election Day. And so...
No, it's not. This is September. We'll be back together in October.
Oh, I forgot to tell you.
Okay, you know what? No. So before we wrap up, because I'm surprised Lonnie's not over here pecking on the window saying, hey, just because you're live doesn't mean you can keep talking until you want to be finished. Where can people get information? Because you do disseminate it out. I know in most cases it's to media outlets like the radio station and the newspapers, but you guys have Facebook. You have all the social media.
We have Facebook. We have Instagram now. We even have a Twitter, but I haven't really gotten that up to much speed yet. I'm not much of a tweet. Whatever.
You're a tweeter.
Yeah. But yeah, our Facebook page, the sheriff also has a Facebook page, an official one, other than his personal, where we will post information. You can find me. If it's something that you need to know that I can help you with, I'm more than happy to try to do it. But those are the main sources, regular media sources, our Facebook page, Instagram, and such.
And I'll put links to all of that in the show notes page.
So
I have a favor to ask of you, but I'm going to do it off the air after you finish telling me the end of that story that you were telling me. But thank you for coming to hang out with me today. Again, it's quite the honor on your behalf that you're here in the studio with me live, because I don't do live shows anymore.
Right. You know.
Hey. You're welcome for me allowing you to come in and have this conversation with me today.
I appreciate it. And if you can twist this show into another award for yourself,
that's exactly what I'm going to
do it.
Yes. We're going to wrap up our conversation today with Lieutenant Warren Gosnell from the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. Since I am in town today, when I'm done here, I am heading over to the Front Row Golf Club, and I'm going to record a show for next Tuesday. So make sure you tune in for that. Tomorrow is United Way Day, so I'm going to be having a conversation with Elise from United Way. Meet me back here just a few minutes after noon to hear it.